Hi, everybody. My name is Maria. I'm one of the founders of Warriors, and we're really excited to have all of you join us on our wellness series. We're especially excited to have Deborah, who is an incredible certified hypnotherapist that Nadia and I have both worked with successfully. We've both done some trauma release, which is what we'll be focusing on today, but also learning some great coping tools for stress and anxiety. If you missed last week, I definitely recommend checking that one out for the tapping technique, which is a great way to reduce your anxiety. It's quick, it's really easy to do, and it's awesome. So this week we'll be doing welcoming for trauma release. I'll let Deborah kind of explain what that is, but I did just want to introduce you guys to our awesome volunteer, Julie. She joined the session last week and she found it really, really helpful, and she has graciously offered to let us do the welcoming process with her. So I'm going to go ahead and just hand it over to Deborah. Thanks again, everybody, for joining.
Great. So we're going to be learning a technique today called welcoming. Welcoming is a very unusual and very powerful technique. Basically, the foundation is that whatever we're pushing away, we're increasing. So let's take something maybe out of the realm of this particular group's subject matter at the moment. Like, let's say somebody has financial problems. If somebody has financial problems, they're pushing them away energetically on some level. They're sitting there saying, oh, I wish I didn't have these problems. So whenever we're doing that, we're increasing the problem. Pretty much everybody in the human potential field in today's world is in agreement on this concept. Everybody has a different way of releasing it. This welcoming is extremely profound in doing that. So what happens if you stop energetically pushing away the unwanted? Well, what happens is rather amazing and can offer very deep releases, and can offer very deep releases on things that happened decades ago. Things that were imprinted in very dramatic and maybe even hurtful or painful ways in our childhood or our youth or growing up, or even more recently though too. But the things that were imprinted in youth, before we're 18 years old, we have no critical mind. The critical mind acts as a barrier between the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. There's a layer in here called the critical mind, and it filters out, it keeps the subconscious mind from being bombarded, right? Because right now there's the sound of my voice, there's the paint color on the wall, there's the anticipation of what's going to happen with this meeting, is the meeting recording properly, on and on and on. This would be a bombardment to the subconscious mind. The critical mind tends to filter out and let in mostly what is helpful. However, when we experience any kind of trauma, the critical mind is completely disengaged because, for example, if you're in the middle of your car out of control on the highway, you need as much information as possible filtering into all parts of you to make all the correct decisions to get your car righted. Excuse me, I have to admit somebody. Okay. To the person who just joined us, we're now beginning to explain welcoming. So when we're young, we have no critical mind, and the imprints go in quite deep. So even those imprints, and even though they're in there deep, I have experienced with my clients that those imprints and those programmings, which often feel the most exacerbating to us, can be released and relieved through this welcoming process. So anyway, in welcoming and in learning welcoming, it's often more useful for the students to do this in a sample format, where And the format that we're going to be using today is I'm going to be doing some welcoming exercises after I explain welcoming with Julie, who is our volunteer today. And through this example, it's very informative for people, and people can sort of get a feel for how this goes. Then we're going to stop the example, and then I'm just going to do welcoming with the group on some subject. We'll see what we want to deal with today, and then we're going to do a full hypnosis session. So that's what's going to be happening today. So before we get started, Julie, is there anything you want to say about your process so far with these meetings?
I think that the thing I would like to say is that I am discovering, at least from the first meeting, the degree to which I think of this almost like a peony opening, that every time a layer opens, there's a new layer that presents itself that I did not understand was there. And I'm able to look at it with a little less fear or anxiety, even though it may take that form. So it's been just the journey of the last week has really been extraordinary to begin to explore places without having worked with you last week, I don't know that I ever would have found.
Yeah, okay, good. So, what on your mind and your personal experience of what you're willing to share and have recorded, what is a challenge that you're experiencing, and we can help you hone it down and figure out the best way to phrase it. But what's on your mind these days that feels challenging to you?
What has been very much on my mind these days has been a feeling of pressure to perform. Just this relentless, you got to do it. And by that, you've got to do it. It's become clear, less and less clear what that it is, but it's always that driving sense that you must be doing.
Okay. And how do you feel this is interfering with your life? Is there anything you want to share with that?
It interferes because I don't feel I can focus, because I've got to move quickly. I don't know why.
Okay.
I find myself, when I get into that space, much less grounded. So I'm not assimilating information.
Yes. Good.
So I'm reading an article and reading it quickly and coming out of it not needing to go back.
Right.
Yeah, it's a sense of being that there is so much to be done that I can't tether myself in any space. Really.
Okay, good. What is the intensity level of this pressure to perform? You're talking about a little bit now. I'm assuming you're connecting with it a little bit at least. What is it at the moment? 10 high and 1 low. Let's put a number on it.
I'm going to put it between a 7 and an 8.
Okay.
Allow it to stir up.
We'll just say 7+. Okay. So now welcoming. Welcoming is like, let's say you have a friend that you haven't seen in maybe a year. You've lost touch with them. And the intentions were good. Nobody was at fault. Nobody was mad at anybody. Maybe some texts went back and forth. Maybe there was a few phone calls here and there, but the object of getting together and visiting never really happened. And each person's life just went in different directions. So Julie, let me ask you, if you were in this situation and then you went into the grocery store, for example, and you were going down the cereal aisle, and this friend was going down the soup aisle, and then you came around the end cap, and all of a sudden you were face to face with this person, how would you react? How would you respond?
My external person would be delighted, because that's always my social way. My internal person might not be so thrilled.
And why is that? Why wouldn't your internal person be thrilled?
As I envision this, my internal person is focused on being where I am, doing what I'm doing in my own space, and suddenly it's disrupted.
Okay. All right. So what would you experience your heart opening, or would you experience your heart closing?
After a moment, after a breath, I would experience it opening.
Okay. All right.
Moved into that space.
So let's say the moment has gone by that you just referred to.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then what would you say? How would you respond?
I'd probably say something, oh my goodness, where have we been?
Yes, exactly.
The two of us, where have we been that we haven't made contact and connection?
Yes. So that's it. That's welcoming. So I'm going to do a little more exaggerated to give people the idea, maybe a little bit more. And this may not be your level of response, but it's for the purpose of education. So you're going around the corner, you see somebody you haven't seen in about a year, that you love, you really liked when you know, and have been friends with, but just never had, your schedules never connected, you just never got together. It might be something like, oh, hi, wow, great to see you. So the energy that I'm trying to convey is that the heart, because of the element of surprise, right? Like maybe if you were going to a party, at a party, you're sort of expecting that you might see certain people because that's the purpose of being there, socializing. But in the grocery store, you're focused on your list and you're, you know, trying to accomplish something. So you're not really thinking about it so much. But so the element of surprise is more impactful in that situation, right? So, oh, hi, wow, great to see you. So that's welcoming. What most people will do after that, and that's about 3 seconds, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, most people will go into their mind again. And that will look something like, oh, I don't really like what she did with her hair. I hope she's still married to that nice man. He was great. I really enjoyed talking to him last time I met him. Or, gee whiz, I hope she's not mad at me for not calling. So do you see the difference between the two states?
Very much.
One is, and then the other one is we're going back into our mind and just being people. Yeah. Okay, so one thing that welcoming is it's not acceptance, and it often gets confused with acceptance. So acceptance is shifting your position from point of view A to point of view B. Like, let's say somebody, to make the most dramatic example possible, let's say I'm a Republican and you're a Democrat, and I'm trying to convince you to be a Republican. So I give you all these wonderful examples of how great it is to be a Republican, and you accept being a Republican. So you've changed the foundation from position A to position B. Yeah. And so this technique does not involve any acceptance. It's way too big of a step. It's just, you could think of it as a yoga pose, right? Yeah. The reason you're doing a yoga pose is there's some benefit there, right?
That's right.
And so a 3-second yoga pose. So that's what I would most compare it to. And so we are going to do a little bit of this welcoming. Welcoming traditionally is done in a waking state. And after you and I do this sample together, then we're going to do welcoming, but we're going to do it in hypnosis. And I find it works even better in hypnosis. So I'm just going to ask you, Julie, to focus now. You can do this with your eyes open or your eyes closed, or you can switch back and forth, okay. Just however you feel comfortable. I would like to ask you to focus on this pressure to perform for the purpose of releasing it, for the purpose of reducing it, perhaps letting it go. You're just allowing yourself to get in touch with this pressure to perform, this thing that's interfering with your focus and your ability to move quickly. Just allowing that to bubble to the surface of your consciousness and allowing it to be here and to be real. So now we're going to begin the welcoming steps. I'm going to ask you a series of questions. I'm going to guide you through it step by step. It's going to be very, very easy for you to do. And you're going to answer either yes or either no to the questions that I'm presenting to you. So
Okay.
your part is very simple. You're just following along and answering questions.
Excellent.
Yes. So now, Julie, can you welcome this pressure to perform?
Yes.
Good. And can you welcome the whole story behind it? Perhaps it's COVID virus related. Perhaps it's your business is shifting or anything that's there. Can you welcome the whole story behind it?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And can you welcome wishing you had better control over this issue?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And can you welcome any sense that feeling or experiencing this pressure to perform might say something in the positive or the negative about Julie, either way?
Absolutely. Yes.
Mm-hmm. And can you welcome this pressure to perform just for a moment, just for 3 seconds?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And can you welcome how much it's interfering with your focus? Just briefly.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And can you welcome feeling less grounded just for a moment, just for 3 seconds?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And can you welcome being more grounded? However much you can get in touch with that, even if it's a speck.
Yes.
And can you welcome being less grounded just for a moment?
Yes.
And can you welcome being more grounded just briefly?
Yes.
And can you welcome, what is the opposite of feeling pressure to perform? What is the opposite of that in your mind?
Feeling at ease with where you are.
Mm-hmm. Can you welcome being at ease with where you are?
Yes.
Yeah, good. And can you welcome feeling pressure to perform just for 3 seconds?
Yes.
And can you welcome feeling at ease with where you are just for 3 seconds?
Yes.
And what thoughts or emotions are on your mind now? Just in a few words, what are you feeling?
Just feeling a level of joy, of welcoming, being grounded.
Mm-hmm.
And when you asked me to welcome going back to feeling pressured, Deborah, there's almost an irritation.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, really, do I have to do that?
Mm-hmm.
It was so young in the way it presented itself. It
Mm-hmm.
startled me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you released.
Okay.
So yeah, so welcoming, it can happen quite fast like that.
Yeah.
Another aspect of welcoming is when you do this exercise in this process, it can often bring things to the surface that are more deeply embedded causes. Like, I'm not saying this is your reason, but my father put all kinds of pressure on me to be excellent at everything I do. Do you know what I mean? And that's maybe sort of an obvious thing that would be related to this, but it can also bring up things to the surface that were not known and not obvious to the participant. It's quite good at that. And then those deeply embedded, usually those are more in the childhood stages and the younger stages, and then that can be released and let go too.
Yes, and I actually did have a memory that
Oh.
that just popped and was a great
Uh-huh.
surprise. Yeah.
Do you want to share it or is it private?
No, it's absolutely fine. It is a memory of when I was about 5 years old. I had taught myself when I was very little to read. I was just an early reader, but I don't know why I never told my parents. And my teacher told my mother, And my mother came home and I had 102 fever and she asked me to read for her. And when I couldn't, she told me I was stupid.
Mm.
And later she apologized, but I have not thought of that in,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, maybe 40 years. And it just popped up and I suddenly said, my God, this pressure is fear of being stupid and failure.
Mm-hmm.
Connected. It's a lovely little twine package.
Good. So can you welcome, how did you feel when your mother told you you were stupid at that time?
I just remember utter confusion because I was
Okay.
also really sick.
Yeah, okay. So can you welcome that confusion just for a moment, just for now?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And can you welcome the whole history of that confusion?
Yes.
Good. And can you welcome any sense that that confusion might say something in the positive or the negative about Julie, either way?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And can you welcome this confusion just for a moment, just for now?
Yes.
Now, in this particular situation, what would have been the opposite when you were 5 years old? What would have been the opposite of feeling confused?
It would have been feeling proud.
Yes. And can you welcome feeling proud?
Yes.
Uh-huh. And can you welcome feeling confusion?
Yes.
And can you welcome feeling proud just for a moment?
Yes.
And can you welcome feeling confusion briefly?
Yes.
And can you welcome feeling proud briefly?
Yes.
And can you welcome any sense that this whole situation might say something in the positive or the negative about your mother?
Yes.
And can you welcome any sensation that this whole situation might say something in the positive or the negative about Julie?
Yes.
And can you welcome the whole story, today's story and yesterday's story about this whole situation?
Oh, yes.
Uh-huh. What thoughts or emotions are on your mind now?
I'm thinking now about untangling and stepping away from the story that was my mother's versus the story that's my own.
Mm-hmm. Good.
And a sense of freedom with that.
Yeah. Wonderful. Okay. So now I'm going to give everybody a minute to get into a relaxed and reclining position. Your head needs to be supported. If you're in a chair, you have to have something behind your head, or you can stick perhaps a pillow back there, or you can scoot down like this, but you can move your laptop or and go lie on the couch or whatever you care to do.
And Deborah, stop my video.
Excuse me?
Shall I stop my video now?
Yeah, that's fine. Stop your video now. That's fine. Thank you for reminding me. So, sinking down into the supports beneath you. Allowing yourself to melt and relax. Release and let go. And now with your eyelids shut, your eyes are melting up to the center spot in the forehead, and any center spot is fine. Eyes melting up to the center spot in your forehead. And just imagine inhaling in through the center spot and exhaling out through the center spot. And inhaling in through the center spot And exhaling out through the center spot. And inhaling in through the center spot. And out through the center. And in through the center. And out through the center. And in through the center. And out through the center. And in through the center. And out through the center. And in through the center. And out through the center. And continuing now with your eyelids shut, your eyes are gently melting up to the center spot in the forehead. And if that causes any stress or any strain, then you're lowering your eyes until they feel comfortable. Still, the focus is building at the center spot. The concentration is building at the center spot. Feeling the weight of gravity pulling down on your feet, massaging your feet, relaxing your feet. Feeling the weight of gravity pulling down on your shins, on your calves. Soothing, massaging, relaxing the whole lower leg as the whole lower leg melts down and down and down. Feeling the weight of gravity pulling down on the thighs, on the hamstrings, allowing the whole upper leg to deeply relax and melt, sinking and melting, deeper and deeper, down and down. And noticing both your legs now from hip to toe, and allowing your legs to melt. And now there's a golden light massaging the stomach, relaxing the stomach, revitalizing digestion. And now there's a golden light gently massaging the heart, relaxing the heart, allowing the heart to melt and open, allowing the heart to receive and fill with this lovely healing light. The whole torso now filled with a sense of light and bliss and relaxation. Releasing the tongue from the roof of the mouth, relaxing the jaw. Relaxing the tongue, relaxing the lips, relaxing the jaw. Letting everything in the mouth melt. Letting the eyes sink very deeply back into the eye sockets, relaxing all the muscles around the eyes. Massaging the forehead, massaging the scalp, relaxing all the muscles in the forehead and scalp. And now there's a golden healing honey-like substance dripping down the spinal column, starting in the neck, dripping down one by one, massaging and soothing every vertebrae, massaging and soothing every connection between every vertebrae. This golden healing honey-like substance is dripping down one by one, dripping down into the upper back. One by one, dripping down into the middle of the back, massaging and soothing every vertebrae, massaging and soothing every connection between every vertebrae. This golden healing honey-like substance is nurturing and soothing every aspect of you at the deepest levels, dripping down into the middle of the back, one by one, dripping down into the small of the back and into the tailbone. All the vertebrae in the spinal column are opening up wide to receive this golden healing honey-like substance. which is deeply penetrating and sinking and melting down into the whole nervous system associated with the spinal column. Deeply saturating and soothing the whole nervous system from top to bottom. Massaging the neck, massaging the shoulders, relaxing all the muscles in the neck and shoulders. Massaging the upper arms, massaging the lower arms, the wrists, the hands, the fingers, the finger joints, all receiving a nice soothing massage as you sink and melt and go down and down and down. Time to let it all go now. This is your time to heal. This is your time to receive, and you're gladly opening up wide in this safe, secure, and healing environment to receive the healing gifts coming your way today. And now I want you to call to mind some form of anxiety, and you can be specific about your anxiety. It might be money anxiety, it might be physical pain anxiety, it might be anything, any form of anxiety, and you can put a specific label on it for your personal needs, or it can be general. But you're allowing it to bubble to the surface of your mind. You're allowing it to bubble to the surface of your physical reality for the purpose of releasing it. You're allowing yourself to get in touch with it. And now we're going to begin our welcoming exercises with this anxiety. Remembering that welcoming is like a friend that you haven't seen in forever. You go around a corner somewhere and all of a sudden you're face to face with them and you say, "Oh, hi, wow, great to see you." It's a 3-second exercise. No acceptance involved. I'm going to guide you through this process, asking you these simple questions, and in your mind, you're going to answer yes or no. Can you welcome this anxiety just for a moment, just for now, however briefly? Just 3 seconds. Can you welcome the whole story behind this anxiety? The whole story behind the anxiety, all the causes, all the people involved, all the events, personal and world, that go into this anxiety. Can you welcome any wishing you had better control over this anxiety? Can you welcome wishing the anxiety would go away? Just for a moment, just for now. Can you welcome any sense that this anxiety might say something in the positive or the negative about you, either way? This means you're taking it personally. That's the purpose of welcoming the positive or the negative. And can you welcome this anxiety just for a moment, just for now, however briefly? And can you welcome the whole story behind the anxiety? All the people involved, all the events involved, the whole history. Maybe it's gone on for a week, maybe it's gone on for 20 years. And you welcome the whole history, just briefly, 3 seconds, that's all. Can you welcome any wishing you had better control over this situation and your response to it? Can you welcome any sense that this anxiety might say something in the positive or the negative about you, either way? Can you welcome that this anxiety might say something in the positive or the negative about anybody else that's involved in the story behind it? Somebody that you may feel have caused the anxiety. Can you welcome that it might say something in the positive or the negative about them? And can you welcome the anxiety just for a moment, just for now? Can you welcome peace just for a moment, just for 3 seconds? Even if it's just a teensy tiny bit, it doesn't matter. And can you welcome peace just for a moment, just briefly? And can you welcome anxiety just briefly? And can you welcome peace briefly, just for 3 seconds? And can you welcome anxiety just briefly? Just a second or two. And can you welcome peace briefly? And can you welcome anxiety just for a moment? And can you welcome peace briefly? And now I'm going to count you up and out, and then I'm going to take you back in again from 0 to 5. 0 is always deeper. 1, gradually, gradually. 2, up and up. 3, sensing the room around you. 4, eyes blinking. And 5, eyes open wide awake. Eyes open wide awake, hovering your left hand above your eyes, staring into your center finger, palm facing down, staring into your center finger, hand about 6 inches from your eyes, left hand hovering over your eyes, and you're staring into your center finger. This might make your eyes want to blink or blink to close. This might make your mouth feel a bit dry. You might have a sensation to swallow. This might make your fingers want to relax or relax and spread. Any of these sensations that are arising, you're just simply allowing. And now the eyes are diving very deeply down into the center finger. And now the center finger is diving very deeply down into the eyes. And probably you're not sure which is which is fine. And now the focus on the center finger is doubled. And the focus on the center finger is doubled again. Eyes closed, hand down. Eyes closed, hand down. 5. Every number, every count is taking you down deeper and deeper, allowing you to relax and release. 4. Sinking and melting deeper and deeper, letting it all go now. 3. Deeper and deeper, down and down and down. 2. Sinking and melting deeper and deeper. Relaxing, releasing. 1. Down and down and down. 0. Deep hypnosis, down and down. Letting it all go. Allowing yourself to melt into the supports beneath you. This is your time to heal. This is your time to receive. All parts of your conscious mind and all parts of your subconscious mind have released the challenges that we brought to this hypnosis session today. This release is going to continue in the time beyond this hypnosis session, particularly during the venting stage of the dream cycle in the early morning hours. Your dreams are going to assist you greatly in continuing to vent out these challenges very effectively, very efficiently in the venting stage of the dream cycle in the early morning hours, completely and totally venting out any remaining challenges of this nature. Sinking down and down and down. 3. Every number, every count, deeper and deeper. 2. Down and down. 1. Relaxing, releasing. 0. Deep hypnosis. Down and down and down. And now you're noticing there's a healing light hovering above the top of your head. The flat part of your head, there's a healing light. A white gold healing light, and the top of your head is softening. And this healing light is entering in through the top of the head, sinking very deeply down into the conscious and subconscious minds, soothing and massaging the subconscious minds at the deepest levels, nourishing and healing all aspects of the conscious and subconscious minds, and releasing anything from the conscious and subconscious minds that's less than peace. And now this white gold healing light that's entering in through the top of the head is filling the whole head. The jaw, the face, the back of the head, entering in through the top of the head, traveling down through the head into the neck, and massaging and soothing the thyroid gland, which resides in the front of the neck, revitalizing all the very important hormonal functions that the thyroid provides, maximizing the ability of the thyroid to help and heal your body. White healing light hovering above the head, melting into the top of the head, traveling down through the neck, into the heart. The white healing light now is filling the heart, massaging and soothing, revitalizing the heart, empowering the heart, relaxing the heart, allowing the heart to melt in a safe and secure manner because the white healing light is there to hold it. And the heart now filling with this white healing light and overfilling with this white healing light. And now this white healing light is growing up out of the heart center into the room and producing golden lacy ribbons of white healing light coming up from the heart center. Golden ribbons of lacy white healing light growing up from the heart center into the room. And now these lacy ribbons of white healing light are wrapping themselves around the torso, the chest area upwards towards the shoulders. Lacy ribbons of white healing light very gently, very loosely, very delicately, wrapping themselves around the whole upper body. Up towards the shoulders, lacy ribbons of white healing light, gently and delicately and loosely wrapping themselves around the neck, and now around the chin, around the jaw, and around the face and the back of the head, and upwards over the top of the head. And the white golden light is still entering in through the top of the head, traveling down through the head, through the neck, into the heart. And the heart is overfilling with this white healing light, producing lacy ribbons of white healing light growing up from the heart center. And now these lacy ribbons of white healing light growing up from the heart center are wrapping themselves downward around the torso, around the chest, around the navel, around the whole hip area. These lacy ribbons of white healing light are emitting a soft healing substance that is relaxing and soothing and nurturing all parts of your torso, relaxing and healing and sending healing energy and relaxing energy and releasing energy to all parts of the torso. These lacy ribbons of white healing light growing up from the heart center, wrapping themselves downward around the torso, around the hips, and now around the upper legs. Lacy ribbons of white healing light, very loosely, very delicately, wrapping themselves around the whole upper leg and now around the knees, and massaging and soothing the very important knee joints, sending healing energy to all the delicate and important and significant connections in the knee joints, sending healing energy to all the important parts of the hip sockets and all the functions of the hip sockets. Lacy ribbons of white healing light growing up from the heart center, wrapping themselves downward around the torso, around the hips, around the knees, down towards the lower legs, covering the lower legs and covering the ankles, and sending healing energy and soothing energy and nurturing energy to all the important muscles and bones of the total leg from top to bottom. Continuing these lacy ribbons of white healing light, wrapping themselves around the feet now, massaging the soles of the feet, massaging the upper parts of the feet, wrapping themselves around the toes, down around, covering the toes. And now you are in a cocoon of lacy ribbons of white healing light. These lacy ribbons of white healing light are going to continue to work on you in the time beyond this hypnosis session, particularly during your sleep cycle. During your sleep cycle, you can invoke this cocoon once again right before you fall off to sleep. You can just imagine the cocoon there, or you can imagine the whole wrapping like we just did in this hypnosis session. This cocoon of light is yours. It's a healing cocoon of light that will allow you to relax, noticing the quality of tranquility. Tranquility is emitting from all these lacy ribbons of white healing light, and all parts of you are filling with this sense of tranquility from top to bottom. This cocoon of lacy ribbons of white healing light is full of tranquility and sharing its tranquility with you now. And now putting 3 fingers of your left hand together, any 3 will do. Taking a nice long deep breath in, filling up, and up, and up, and up, and pause, and saying out loud, tranquility, and exhale. And inhaling in, up and up and up and up and up, and pause and say out loud, tranquility, and exhale. And inhaling in, up and up and up and up and up, and out loud, tranquility, and exhale. Relaxing and releasing and letting it all go. This anchor is very effective. This anchor will bring you back to this place of tranquility whenever and wherever you use it in the time beyond this hypnosis session. Counting you up and out now from 0 to 5. 0 is always deeper. 1, gradually, gradually. 2, up and up. 3, sensing the room around you. 4, eyes blinking. And 5, eyes open, wide awake. Eyes open, wide awake. Up and out, everybody's eyes open. And just giving yourself a moment to come out. Takes a moment or 2 to come around. And you might want to return to a seated position. We have a thing or two to go over. You'll be more conscious if you're seated rather than lying down. So everybody should just put a number on their anxiety right now, including Julie. And what's the level of anxiety that you're feeling right now? 10 high, 1 low. You can put a number on it. And we didn't number it before we started, and you should. But I bet it's a whole lot lower than it was when we started. So Julie, what is the level, what is the pressure that you're feeling now to perform? And if you want to just put it in the chat box, what is the pressure that you're feeling to perform? 10 high and 1 low. Could you put a number on that and put it in the chat? So 3. So Julie in the chat box put that the intensity level of her pressure to perform that she's experiencing right now is a 3, and it was a 7+ when we started. So that's the purpose of doing all these numbers, so you can see you're making progress and you see the processes that are working. And anyway, so here's a quick one that you all can do, and that's the anchor that we did at the end of the session. So if you want to follow along, 3 fingers of your left hand together. Some people do it like this, some people do it like this, some people do it like this, however you want to do it. 3 fingers of your left hand together. Everybody taking a nice long deep breath in, saying out loud, tranquility. And again, out loud, tranquility. And again, out loud, tranquility. So that is a quick and easy way to get back to this place of feeling more tranquil. Not that you're going to always go down super, super low, but you are going to release some anxiety just by doing that quick and easy anchor. That little quick and easy exercise is called the anchor. And Nadia is saying to everyone, and people can use other words like peace during their anchor, right? That's correct. Any word that you want to use. Like, let's say you're trying to get jazzed up to do a big project. You might want to use motivation as your anchor. First, what I would do is I would do the tapping video listed here in number 5. I would release on lack of motivation. And then at the end of that, I would do the anchor, motivation, like that, to give yourself some motivation. So any other questions or comments, or if you want to share your experience that you just went through, any reflections, we'll give people a moment if they care to write something in the chat box. And people are saying thank you. So we appreciate all you. I can share. What does that mean, Nadia? You want to write it, or you want them to call you, or you want me to?
I'm writing now, but I can just say it if you want.
Oh, okay, sure, fine.
Yeah. So I've been dealing with the grief with losing my mother 2 years ago from last April, and so while we were doing the hypnosis video and welcoming, especially, I realized that I do have anxiety. And I mean, I know that I have anxiety, but it's always kind of getting to the true root of what is actually causing this anxiety, that I have anxiety about moving forward without my mother. So I released that. I actually cried a little bit, and that realization was very powerful. I think with grief, so often people, part of the difficulty with grief is it is a change. I mean, obviously you're upset about losing somebody, but you don't have that person in your life anymore. So you have to adjust to a new way of living and viewing yourself and all of that. So that came up for me. So that was very powerful. And I really am very grateful we were able to do that.
Good, good. Yeah, it's always so motivating to hear people's gains, and everybody can experience these gains. And so if you decide, does anybody else want to share anything? It's not necessary. It's just, don't feel any pressure to, but if anybody has anything they want to share, it's fine. You can do that if you care to. Okay, so I just want to say, please do your anchor, please do your tapping. And if you want to work with me one-on-one, it's a little different, because you can see this example that I went through with Julie. It was more personalized because we got to a core issue for her that she didn't even maybe remember was there. And then we can, if I were continuing with her, we would examine that core issue, which she already mentioned here in this video, was her mother saying something negative to her when she was very young about her reading, and examine that on a more personal and detailed level, and perhaps release on that a little more. So if you work with me one-on-one, then it's more tailored to you specifically. I have a special going now for anybody in the Warriors group, and for any of my clients that joined. And that special is, what was the special, Nadia?
I think it's half off, so so $35.
35, okay, yeah, 35, that's right. $35 an hour. My normal rate is $65 an hour. So it's a pretty deep discount.
Yeah.
And anybody who wants to do that, I'm happy to. I love doing these sessions, and I love sharing this work for free. And we will continue to do this as long as we can. It's totally fine. But if anybody wants the more personalized touch, I'm available.
Yeah, I just wanted to say I've worked with Deborah personally, as Maria has, and it's just been so amazing. I mean, I started working with her in 2000, like 6 years ago, I think, and I finally was able to get to the root of a lot of my trauma, my anxiety, even my overeating. And what's so great about hypnosis is, you know, and I think all these different therapies are great. I've been in talk therapy. I think there's definitely a lot of value, but I was really shocked by how quickly I was able to get to the root of these issues and heal. I feel, Deborah, you're just such a safe person to open up to, and I really trust you, and that's why Maria and I recommend her so much. Maria, you just turned your speaker off. Did you want to say something, or you're?
Yeah, I was gonna, Deborah, if you want to turn my video on.
Okay, 1 second. This is a multi-step process, but I'm getting better at this.
To turn mine on.
Well, I have to do something here. Okay.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
Yeah,
I got it. Yeah, I just wanted to also say that, you know, I've done a lot of different kind of therapies in my life as well. And I really feel like I made more progress in about 6 sessions with Deborah than years of talk therapy. So I just wanted to share that experience, that it's really been incredible for me. I've made a ton of breakthroughs in just a short period of time. So I can't recommend it enough, for sure.
Well, thank you. Wow. I appreciate that. It's so rewarding to help you, and particularly everybody in the Warriors group. You have such a good cause. And you know what? We forget to remind people, I think, if you have anything else you want to share, please go to the Warriors Facebook page, which is listed in these links, right?
Oh, yeah. So I wanted to quickly go over, if you all, you know, you all are on Zoom, if you scroll your mouse down. Oh, somebody else left a message. Oh, Julie.
They're saying goodbye.
Everyone's like, okay, wrap it up, Nadia, wrap it up.
Yeah,
okay,
right.
So really quick. If you scroll your mouse down to the bottom of the screen, you should see a chat. So if you click on the chat, we've put a couple of links that you can look at. So our website to access all of these sessions, because they've all been recorded, wearethewarriors.org/hypnosis. And then the email, if you want to email us giving us feedback or you have questions, you can do that, info@wearethewarriors.org. Deborah also wanted us to share her recipes. She has amazing recipes on her website. And then, of course, we did tapping in emotional freedom technique last week. And so you can access that on her website as well. And then Julie had actually mentioned to me last week that she had done a session of yoga after hypnosis and felt like it made her your yoga practice just so much more profound and powerful. So if anyone wants to check out some yoga videos, we really recommend Yoga with Adrienne on YouTube, and she actually has one specifically for trauma and PTSD, which Maria and I are literally going to be doing now. So if you all wanted to virtually join us, that would be awesome to feel like we're all kind of doing it. So I put all of those links in the chat box. So yeah, if we could just maybe wait a minute or two in case anybody wants to copy and paste them. Let us know if you can't access the chat box.
But this session's recorded and it's going to be on the Warriors website.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you can redo this session as many times as you want to.
Yeah, you could do it like every day. So.
But I think people last time commented by email, and I think it's probably better for everyone if they comment on Facebook.
Yeah. Well, we also have the book club too. The group, we have a Warriors book club, which is a smaller space. So yeah, if you wanted to comment or just message us, if you had something more private to share, that's totally fine. Okay, I think that's it. So.
Okay. Thank you so much, everybody.
Joining us. We really appreciate that. We hope it was helpful.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.